You are all welcome. Good evening, my lovely people. How are you doing? I hope you are doing fine. Thank you for another session. This is another session of discovery time. Yes, it is discovery time, and we are live. We are live. Thank you for calling in the Calvary. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I trust you all had and still having a wonderful week. Time is running. I wish there is a way we can catch time, but time is running and we don't have it. We don't have the time. I can't believe that it's already, another week. It's moving so fast. But we give God all the glory. We thank God for strength. We thank God for life itself. We thank God for making it possible for us to be alive and to see another day, another week, all to His glory. Blessed be His holy name. All right. Thank you. Thank you. As you come in, help us do what we do best. Help us to spread the word. Help us to, tag someone. Help us to call in the Calvary. Okay. It's you guys that can help. We can only do what we can do, but it's you guys that can help us. So help, please, to spread the word. Thank you so much. All right, are we there? Are we there? Let me know if you are there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And I promise I will try and do my best that your time will not be wasted. That's at least the aim here in Discovery Time, that we try for your time not to be wasted. All right. So we are here. Sorry, I have something. We are still dealing with the topic dependability. Good evening, Tessie. How are you doing? Nice to see you, dear. How are you? Yes, thank you. Happy midweek. Already, it's midweek. And already, we are almost in the middle of November. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, whatever we have doing, you know what I always say, don't waste time. Good evening, Ify. How are you doing? My day has been fine so far. I trust yours as well. Yes, whatever we have doing, please don't waste time. Time is fast, fast moving. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You too. Happy midweek. Just last week, I was talking about my friend that died, and it's still a shock because it's just she died on Monday. We buried her on Saturday. How fast things move, and I'm still processing it. I'm just still in my head. There's still something that it's not yet clear. Like unbelievable. She's no more, and that's how fragile life is. That's how limited our time also is. And so when you know life is time, time is life. You, you cannot continue playing with it. Good evening, Chichi. How are you doing? You are welcome, dear. God bless you. How are you? We can't play with life. Time is life. When we start to get that, oh, good evening, Second Tessie. How are you doing, my dear? You're welcome. I have two Tessies online. Yes. Time is life. When we talk about time, I think I've done a session on time before. I'll still bring it up again because we really need to get it deep in. And then we will stop playing with time. Time is life. I mean, your age is time, day is time, week is time, seasons are time. So, all that, they are expressions of time. So, everything about it is life. That's how your life is, measured. Your life is measured when he or she was born on so and so date, and then existed or died on so and so date. And so is the date that indicates, your life. And so time is life. And then they zoom in and like, okay, how did this person spend this time? So you are spending it. And that's why I keep saying time is currency, time is money. But it's not the cash as we talk about. You spend it. So they zoom in and then start talking, well, this person was born on so and so day to this parent, and then and from this to that, this is what the person achieved. From the date of birth to the date of death, this is what the person achieved. That's the capture of your life, of our lives at the end of it all. Time is life. Good evening, patients. You're welcome. How are you doing? You're welcome, my dear. Am I do you receive echo? It's like I'm having echo here. So maybe I'll have to switch microphones. But let me know if you have echo at the background, because we are using a different microphone now, and somehow I just feel like it's echoing. But let me know if it's not. Then we leave it like this. We don't touch anything. Um, you're all welcome. Yeah. So let's not play with time, please. Whatever we are doing, let's not play with time. We don't have forever. Good evening, happiness. How are you doing? You're welcome, my dear. Okay, thank you, patience, for the feedback. Thank you. All right, then we continue. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Thank you. I'm doing fine by His grace. It's all by His grace. In every blessed day we see, every blessed day we find ourselves, is just by His grace. It's nothing we are doing, it's nothing that we deserved or, earned it. It's all by His grace and His mercy to grant us another day to fulfill purpose. Good evening, Linda. You're welcome. How are you doing? Thank you. Happy midweek too. You're all welcome. Yes. So there is nothing we should, pride ourselves in or think, oh, yes, it's something that we are doing, or it's all to His grace and it's all by His grace. Thank you so much, Linda, that we are here. So whatever we are doing, please let's keep that in mind. No one owns time. Good evening, Bisola. How are you doing? How are you doing? You are welcome. No one owns time. We don't own time. Time does not belong to us. So when the time owner comes, thank you, Bisola. When the time owner comes, how are we? What are we going to do? We have nothing to say. He takes his time, and then that's the end for us. And then what happens afterwards is accountability. This is all part of our topic today. It's accountability. So make sure, and we always have to have in mind that whatever we are doing, we need and we are going to give account. You give account for it here on earth, but you also give account for how well you spend your time hereafter. I remember in one of the sessions, I said time, is borrowed to us. Good evening, Fidelia. You are welcome. How are you doing? That we are living on borrowed time. Time is not our own. We don't own it. Good evening, Bella G. This is the first time I think I'm seeing you here. Nice to see you. You're welcome. So, anything you borrow, you have to realize that you are not only going to give account for it, you also have to pay back. So, how are you paying back? Normally, when you borrow something, you want it to um, work for you and even have change because there is interest on it that you have to pay back when you borrow something, when you borrow money, when you go to the bank to borrow, they charge you interest, right? And so you don't only pay back the amount that you have borrowed, you actually pay back more. The same thing with life. Life is borrowed time, and the purpose is for you to actually make more out of the time so that you can give account. You can say, here is the time, yes, I spend it very well, and plus this and that. That's why the will is given to us. The will is it's a gift. It's a gift given to us to express the creativity of the Almighty God who made us in His image. It's a gift for us to use it to His glory, and so to also help us use the time effectively and be able to account for it as well. So we need to put in mind, my dear people, whatever we are doing in life, whatever we are doing with life, it's the time that has been given to us, and we are going to give account for it, no matter what. That brings us to our topic. Good evening, Joy. You are welcome. How are you doing? That brings us to our topic, dependability. Yes, you've landed. Welcome, my dear. Happy birthday once again. I hope you celebrated it well. Yes, we have a lot of November babies in the house. Please, if you know your birthday is coming or has come, please just remind me, send me a message because I can't. I might miss it. It's not that it's intentional. Please forgive me. But just alert me and I will celebrate you publicly. Okay. So please, if I have forgotten or passed and I did not announce, please don't feel bad. It's not intentional. I want to celebrate everyone. You are also dear, and I appreciate you all so much. Good evening, Philip. You're welcome. How are you doing? Yes, the November babies are quite a lot. Yours is coming up. All right. Which date, Bisola? I am doing fine, Philip. Thank you so much. I'm doing fine. Um, by His grace, you are all welcome. All right. So help us do what we do best. Help us share. Help us tag. Help us. Abubakar, you are welcome. Good evening. Together we become absolutely. Good evening. It's been a while. You're welcome. Bisola. Now that's the January. Thank you so much, Joy. Bisola, you are reminding me of my son. His birthday is in May and he's already singing with it, like, and the other ones will say, like, yeah, but how many birthdays are before yours? So don't worry. When in January, when we reach there, we will cross that bridge. Thank you so much, Joy. It is well. It is well. Time is life, and life is time. All right. So it brings us to our topic, dependability. See, all this while you people are saying it now. Please, when we are reaching there, remind me then because The computer here is full. So I will notice it now, but by the time we are reaching there, there are other ones that are filling up. So don't worry, when we are reaching there, you remind me, all right? And then we will click it and celebrate you. um, so dependability. Last week we started with the topic, and we dealt, or we looked at some traits, some characteristics of what makes you dependable. That's what dependability is: the traits, the characters, the how should I say? Yeah, the values that you must have for you to be considered dependable. Joy, don't worry. We are still celebrating. We are still celebrating. It's the whole of November, right? So we'll celebrate the whole of November. Don't worry. Um, so what makes you a dependable person? And last week we looked at trust, with honesty being part of it. Um, if you cannot be trusted, it becomes difficult for someone to say you are dependable. If you can't be, if no one can, you know, vouch for you and say, "Oh, this person I trust this person." Why is trust so important, both for you as a person, as an individual, in relationships? Every relationship, relationships are built on the concept of trust, on the value trust. Every relationship, be it parents, children, husband, wife, friends, whatever relationship you are in, trust is the cornerstone, or the foundation. Let me put it this way. Um, it's You can still find it, Bisola. That is the foundation of every relationship. So if that is missing, that main ingredient, if that ingredient is missing in you as a person, as an individual, it makes it difficult. Everywhere you go, people will be looking at you with, like, one eye closed and one eye open, like, even when they are sleeping, they are even looking at you. Why? Because they can't find this very important ingredient in you as a person: trust. If someone can't trust you with a simple thing, with a very simple thing, like, just um, keep this phone for me, I'm coming back. And they come back and, "Oh, where is my phone?" This is very simple. You think, but why that takes? But it's so common with some people. And they come back to ask, "Okay, where is my phone?" And then you deny in the first place them giving you the phone. You turn things around. "Oh boy, you left it here. I didn't, you did not give me any phone." You make it look like the person is actually, out of their minds, or don't know what they are saying. You lie completely. It's a very simple something that someone can test you with, and you failed it. Or, "Good evening, Debbie. Good evening, Perpetual. You are all welcome." Those simple things, you might think, "Oh, but who will do that?" It will shock you to know the amount of people that will actually do that. Not to talk of money, you know. And so, if with a simple thing someone cannot trust you, then it becomes an issue. It becomes a very, very, very big problem. Now, I use the example of phone. Let's even say pen. Students, you exchange pens, and another student give you his or her pen, because you needed it, and then ask you back, and you'll be like, "You did not give me, I gave you," or even lie and say, "But I gave you back." Well, within you, you did not give back the pen. You know, there are some things we do, we think it's nothing, but it goes to tell the kind of person that you are, the character that you have, and that is you are not trustworthy. And if you are not trustworthy, you can't build any lasting relationship. You are not dependable. And this goes actually a very long way in everything we are doing. In, you know, your, if someone see that this is just a student, now let's say you don't know that student, but the father of the student is maybe looking for someone to help them, the chances of them recommending you just based on that fact that you twist things, that you lie, those little lies that you think it's nothing, it gives the impression that they can't trust you. And so if there is a position even at your workplace, no one will recommend you. If someone wants to help you, the first thing that they will pause to think is, how is that going to tell about them? You know, because when you refer someone, you are putting your reputation on, you know, on the line. So when I refer you to a friend and you go and mess up, the friend is going to come back to me and be like, what happened? Like, if you send someone like that, then I can trust you. So it tells about you. It comes back to you, the person that makes it, that made the referral. And that's why we have to be very careful whatever we are doing. You are not blocking the road, the way only for you, but also for others. You are not spoiling your own reputation, but also even others that will seek, will try to help you. You will also spoil their reputation. Trust is very important. Now I'm reading here, someone said trust needs to be earned. I actually want us to turn it around. Trust needs to be earned, yes, but the very condition, I said trust is the foundation for every relationship. And so it must be the starting point. You only earn trust when you have shown some things that it's not trustworthy, that you know you can't be trusted. That's where you now have to start earning your trust or the trust of another. But the condition for everything, you know, when you are starting any relationship at all, the condition is trust. Love is automatic, and love is trust, because you can't love what you don't trust or know. So love is trust. And so if you don't start with that and you're like, I want to first see if there are things you need to do to test the level of trust. You know, we have, in everything we have levels. You go deep. So the deeper you go, that's when you now start to test some things, test the waters to see how deep you can trust this person. You are welcome, Folashade. How are you doing? You are welcome, dear. Good evening. That is how deep, like, every level, you know, okay, I can trust this person at least so far to this level. But trust must be the condition in the first place. If there is no trust, you should not even begin. As you are moving, you now start looking, how deep, how well can I trust this person? And that is when you start seeing or getting signals. Okay, this person is showing me this and that. Can I trust it? Can I trust him or her? How far, like, how far that will this person go when the opportunity is given to, like, lie, misguide, deceive? How far will that person go? So that's when you start, when you start noticing something, that's when you now start being on your guard and testing the waters to see how far you can trust that person. But the condition actually must start with trust. We are all doing fine. We are all doing fine. Thank you so much. It must start with trust. Now, with trust, also, we've already spoken about, you know, honesty. It comes with trust. Another thing that goes with trust is reliability, you know. And reliability is hmm, how should I say it? It's so it's deep, and it's also we can take it from different angles. Um, some people make the assumption that a person must be reliable in all areas. Now, you need to understand something, that we are not perfect. None of us. None of us. We are not perfect. We all have our flaws, right? So if you expect someone to be reliable in all areas, now I'm not talking about trust. Trust, we must trust in all areas, but being reliable in all areas will lead you into problem, because then you start looking back and accusing the person. I can't trust you. Good evening, Hope. You are welcome. How are you doing? It's so important we understand these things, and I'm going to explain. Um, Trust is just the foundation. We've established that. That's the foundation that you must build on. And then you have interest, you have honesty, and then reliability. Now, what is so important with reliability, and why I'm saying you should not expect to that a person will be reliable in all areas, is because we all have our flaws. We all have our shortcomings. We all have our weaknesses, right? So you can't expect someone to be reliable. Let's take work for example. You can't expect someone to be reliable in sales, in finance, in this, in all that. Why? The person has their strength. And so it based on their strength, you can now say, okay, on based on this, I can rely on this person. In this area, I know I can rely on this person. But when it comes to punctuality, for example, let's just forget it. You understand? Someone can be very good in one thing, and you can rely on them that they can deliver what they say that they are going to deliver. But maybe they are not good in, for example, punctuality. Now, punctuality in coming on to meetings, maybe that's their weak point. And then I'm not saying they should go scot free, but that's an area that they need to work on, right? They need to work on it. But when it comes to delivering what they say they're going to deliver, they don't miss it. Like, this person delivers, and it's quality what the person delivers. You can trust, you can rely on it. But they have that shortcoming, they have that weakness with them. And it's something that you now have to now sit back and put it into perspective and be like, okay, this this I can trust, I can rely on this person. On this area, I cannot rely on this person. Even me, I myself as an individual, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. And so someone that is going to rely on you cannot rely on you on your weaknesses. They should not use that as the parameter to measure how reliable that you are, but instead use your strengths. Use your strength to show and say, okay, this person in this area I know is reliable. But I have noticed that in that area, there is margin for improvement. They need to improve in that area, but I can vouch for them on that and that and that area. If someone can say that about you, at least it's a good thing. But if they come and say, actually, there is no area I think I can rely on this person, then there is a problem. Then there is a problem. They should not rely on you on every area, in all areas, but at least there should be something that someone can say, oh, on this and that, I can rely on that person, or you can rely on this person. But yes, they have their weaknesses. And so we should not make the mistake of wanting to rely on every area the person must be reliable. We are working towards that. We are not perfect. We are working towards that. That's why we have weaknesses to work on. you know that's why we have our flaws to work on. But a person should accept that trait is so important, like the example I gave about punctuality. If in the line of work or in that relation, if that part of that person is so important to you, that no, I want that person, this is for me important, this, and then you emphasize on it and let the person know, like, hey, this is so important to me. I need you to, work on that. Or I can't work with this person because I can't rely on that person coming on time for meetings. If that is where your emphasis is, fine, make it clear so that you don't get frustrated, so that you don't write the person off just because of that aspect. So that you don't think like, oh, but this person, to use my friend that departed as an example. She was, well, I told you last week that she is really the embodiment of dependability, a dependable person. You can depend on her, on being on time, on being there, just being there, on listening to you, on, she is there. She's dependable and she's trustworthy. Honestly, the level of trust that I honestly could be open about everything in front of her without being ashamed. But there is an area that I know I could not rely on her because that was not her strength. The area that I could not rely on her is, don't expect her to cook. She was not the type that cooked. So if we were meeting and it was at her house, I just knew, I prepared my mind. I was not waiting and go and be angry, like, why is she not cooking? Why is she not doing this? I know that's not her strength. So I would even not be expecting her to do it. I'll prepare myself. Either I make something from home, or we go out and eat something, even though I'm going to her. And when she's coming to me, she knows there's food everywhere. There is no lack of food. Why? Because I loved doing it. And so you appreciate each other based on the strength that the person has. And in this area, I can rely on this person. But in this area, I shouldn't expect that. And you have to decide for yourself, is it a big deal? Can you accept it? If you can't, you make it plain, and then you know you move on, or you cut that relationship and look for someone else, or someone that fits that your expectation of reliability. Your expectation of reliability. So let us not expect everyone. One thing I have come to appreciate so much, really, about myself, if I'm to say that, is I really look at the strength of people and work with them. Like my friend, I know I can't depend on her on that area. I don't make a big deal out of it. I did not make a big deal out of it. She come, we eat, we go out. I go to her, with my children and everything. We go there, we go out, we eat. I am not. It's what I appreciate her for, and are the things that I know. Okay, on this area, I can rely on her. And the same thing, she also appreciated in me, that there are some things that she could not rely on me for. It's normal. We are not perfect. And then there are some areas she knew, oh, she can rely on me on those areas. So please, in your relationship, do not expect perfection. Search within yourself, you yourself, how reliable are you in different areas before you start expecting that from someone else. And then when you search within yourself, you identify the areas that like, these are my strengths. I know this, and then when you're going into a relationship, you look at those things. One thing about relationship that I've come to realize, every relationship, is there should be a level of complementary. There should be a level of what complementary. It's like a puzzle. Have this piece, the other has this piece. You bring it together and then it fits. If everything is the same, sometimes it also causes problem, because then it's now not a matter of fitting, it's a matter of just being outbeating, or becoming each other's concurrents. That's where strife comes, or envy, or somehow enters. But when you look at it from the angle of, I know this is my strength, and yes, these are my weaknesses as well, and this A, B, and C has also this, you see where the puzzle fit to make it work. Do not try to let that person fit into your definition of reliability. I want to be able to rely on this person to give me this A, B, C, D, E, and all that. Can someone rely on you for those things? Or what are the things that that person should rely on you for? Whatever you're expecting from someone, can you yourself give at least something in return that will make it match? So, when it comes to reliability, please, it's so important we understand. Do not, and I repeat, do not make a fit it all thing for everyone. One size fit all. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Everyone is different. Everyone is uniquely made. And it's wonderful. There is a blessing in diversity. There is a reason why they are uniquely made. And you should learn to appreciate each and every one in their uniqueness. You can help to, bring out the quality, the things that are in them, if you can appreciate the good ones and come to their level to help them grow. That's the only way. You cannot be standing there as a teacher. The best way to help your student, most of the time, you have teachers that standing in the class. We call them authoritarian teachers that are just commanding, tack, 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 tack. In as much as there are situations and times that is necessary, there should also be room for you coming down to the level of the student to carry them along. If not, it won't work. If everything and all the time is authoritative, pam, 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 it's somehow, there is going to be a clash somewhere, and it's not going to work, and you're going to blame the student. That is the student that is not understanding, or is a student that cannot follow. But if you can sometimes come to their level to bring them up, it will help. Good evening, Destiny. You are welcome. How are you doing? You're welcome there. It will help. So learn to appreciate one another in the strength of one another, and then help to build up those areas that are how should I say it, shortcomings, are flaws. They say iron sharpen iron. Where you are strong in, you can help the other to become stronger. That's how it works. As someone else is helping you to be stronger in other areas, you help the other. That's how it's supposed to work. Do not conclude, I cannot rely on this person based on A, B, and C. Which is, if that person, if those things are so important to you, fine. Then please, by all means, don't continue in that situation, because it's not a good thing. But if you know there are areas that are strong, the strength of that person, and you can appreciate that, learn to appreciate that as well. Now, there is one thing. Yes, Hope. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've seen it. At least I've read 2 times already that you said you've shared. Thank you so much. Um, do not allow things like that to break your relationships, or Any kind of relationship. Do not allow things like that. If you find yourself in a leadership position, now I spoke about the teachers. Good evening, Karim. You're welcome. You're welcome. Malaikum salam. You're welcome. So, if you are part of that, if you are in a leadership position, you also need to try and appreciate those under you, your subordinate, with their strength, and try to help them to grow. Try to help them to grow. You cannot expect someone to be good in everything. Like, you hire someone and you want them to um be the sales manager, be this, be that, be all that, without actually even guiding them through the whole process. It won't work. It won't work. So if you, based on that, you put someone that maybe can do the counter, um, or arrange the shop, and out of nowhere you put them in the counter without proper training, and you expect them to do their best. You are relying on them. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that doesn't work. That will not work. You have not prepared them for that, so you should not expect that. So, in everything, you need to try to come to the level of your people and follow them, train them to where you want them to be, so that you can now say, okay, I have given you the proper training. Now I'm relying on you to deliver. That is when you have the right to say that. That is when you have the right. But when you have not trained them, when you have not put in the effort, prepared them for a certain position, you just place them there, do not rely. Don't say, I'm relying on you on this or that. Don't. You don't have the right to say that if you have not put in the work of training. If you have not put in the work of, putting them through the process. Good evening, patients. It's been a long time. Good evening, Usman. How are you doing? You're all welcome. You're welcome. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Patients, I've missed you. Ah, you're welcome. It's okay. Better late than never. You're welcome. You know, we always make that mistake. And then we say we can't depend on this person. Based on what? Look, the thing with dependability, it's more than just saying, I can't depend on this person. That's awesome, Usman. So nice to see you. It's the first time I'm seeing you here. You're welcome. You don't have the right, you have no right to say, I can't depend on this person because A, B, and C, when you have not put in the work to be able, at least the level that you want them to be. Now, we are not talking about trust. Like I said, trust should be the foundation. And so, with that foundation set, you now start looking at some things. And when those things are too, like, I'm going back to the shop because that's where most of us, are familiar with. You have goods, and they cannot trust you to not steal. Then you have an issue. That's just, the foundation is just wrong. So I'm not talking about trust. I'm not talking about that. The foundation is just then wrong because they cannot even trust you with the basic. That's not it. But when you know, okay, this person, I can, at least with the goods, the person will take care of it. That trust is there. But there is a certain level. You're expecting the person to know all the goods by heart in just like 2 days or whatsoever that the person is in the shop. You're expecting them to. That is an expectation that you should not even have if you have not properly trained them to knowing the goods. If you have not taken the time to properly put them through, the process, you should not expect that. And that's one thing that we miss out. We start expecting so much, there's so much pressure, and so some try to cut corners, and there is where the trust issue also comes in. Some try to cut corners. Why? To meet up to the expectation, so that madam or boss, Mr. whatsoever, will not get angry. So they start cutting corners. And that's where then you have a serious problem, because you cannot rely on them. You cannot rely on them. And problems start coming. So we need, when we are talking about dependability, you are looking for the characters, the traits that make someone dependable. It's so important to also outline in which area do I need this person to be dependent. Do I want to depend on this person? And let it be an open conversation. Like, look, I want to, or I'm expecting this and that and that. Why? Because that's just the foundation that's so important for us. If you cannot deliver, let me look for someone else. Most of the time, we will say, yes, we'll deliver. Oh, yes, I can. Watch out for the very first ones that say, yes, I can. Most of the time, it's not the what is coming out, but it is most of the time what is not being said, that you need to open your eyes and watch. What is not being said, that you need to open your eyes and watch. It says a lot. Non-verbal communication says a lot, speaks volumes. So watch out for those things as well. Now, another thing when it comes to um, another character of a dependable person is their commitment. Their commitment. Commitment is vast as well. But like I said, you cannot, the reliability aspect, you should not expect everyone in every area that, okay, I'm relying on them in all areas. It becomes a problem. Like when you have parents, children are so fond of that. They think the parents are superhumans. They can do everything, and then get disappointed when they find out, okay, yeah, mama cannot give me this, papa cannot give me this, and all that. Um, in as much as mama cannot give you that or papa cannot give you that, what is it that they are able to give you? Can you appreciate them in those things? Can you at least appreciate them in the things that they can give and that they are giving their best? It's a different thing if they haven't withholding it from you. That's a different thing. That is, you have the never right to say, okay, they have it, but they are not giving. But even in that, why are they not giving? Is it because you squander? They've seen that you're a squanderer? Is it because you have given them all the reason to doubt you? So, oh, the last week I said, when you're pointing fingers, watch. There are three fingers pointed back at you. Whatever you are projecting to the other, please take the time also to reflect on yourself and ask yourself questions. That give me mentality is not going to help us if you don't sit down and also reflect. I'm expecting A, B, and C from this person. How well am I giving also? How well, or do I actually give? Can they depend on me on some certain things? Can they depend on me? How committed are you to that relationship or even to yourself? A person that is not committed to anything, you can't trust. A person that is not committed to anything, you can't trust. So if you want to see which level, to which level can I trust this person, look at the things the person is committed to. Look, if you want to know, okay, can I look at the things, which things is the person committed to? It tells you a lot. If when you are talking in every time, but I don't have time for this, but I go every week with my guys to go and play basketball. Okay, that one you have time for. You go and play basketball. Okay, Oh, I don't have time for to go like I don't have time to just take you out because I'm so busy. Ah, yeah, okay, busy with what? Well, on Monday I have that program. On Tuesday I have the look at the things that the person is mentioning is are they things that are building his tomorrow? Are there things that will also include you in it? What are the things that A is so committed to and cannot have time for the other? What things is that person committed to? It tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. So if you want to know to which level, like I said, the trust is the foundation, but to which level can I really trust this person? Look at the things that the person is committed to. If there is nothing really tangible, nothing important that the person is committed to, please do not commit yourself. That's just simple. Someone that is not committed to anything is a wanderer. Anything and everything goes. It's a wanderer and it's not the that cannot be depended upon. You cannot depend on such person. So let that alone be a sign not to ignore. And then you yourself ask yourself, what am I committed to? What are the things that I'm committed to? Look around. Some because sometimes we because you are so used to something, it doesn't, ring a bell like, hey, these are the things you're committed to. So sit down again and reflect. What are the things that I'm committed to? And are those the things that I need to put my attention on? Are they building my tomorrow? Are they helping me in any area? Do that for yourself. Reflect on it so that you can build yourself up. You don't forget you are adding value. You are to add value. But for you to add value, you need to know yourself. And you need to know which area you need to develop so that you can add value in any relationship that you are in. To add value. What are the things that I am so committed to that either will break, will be a standing block in my relationship with others, both professional and otherwise, even in my personal growth. Sometimes some of us are so committed to things that don't help us in our personal growth, like hours in front of the TV. There are some people, they will never miss their favorite shows. They are so committed to it. So committed to it. Or um, some men, maybe most, if their football team is playing match and you ask them for maybe also very important thing, if they choose that football match over, then you know where you know what they are committed to. I'm not saying it's bad, but it becomes a problem if it's always going to be the case. It's not bad to love, we all have things that we so much love and we are so, into. But if that is standing or becomes a standing block in other relationships, then it becomes a problem. If you are so committed to it that just leaving it for it becomes like life, it's a mad. Some people will even spoil their TV because their team did not win. It should tell you enough about what the person, places as first, as important, that they are so committed to. Another character or traits that I want us to look at, because all these things with reliability comes also, and commitment comes also what? Predictability. How someone acts, what they are committed to in the areas that you can rely on them, you can predict them. yourself too. You can predict yourself. And so someone reading you, knowing you very well, can predict you and be like, okay, well, I know that this is not his or his strength. I know that um this person is not good in that, but I can tell you, I bet you, give Easy Best the catering and she is going to cook the best meal for you. I can predict you that I can. It's a, you know that person in that area so well. You can bet, you can predict. So it brings predictability. If no one knows, you say, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not certain." But maybe sometimes, um, I'm not so sure. That is not a good reference. Unless, like, well, I don't know the person that well. That's a different case. I don't know the person that well, so let's try and see. But if the person knows you so well and still they're like, well, I don't know, I can't tell if this person can deliver on that, or I can't actually predict, because sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. Please, if you find yourself in this category that they can't rely on you and therefore cannot predict, if you are going to do what you say, or what they're going to trust in your hands, please do everything to change. A good name is better than everything. Don't let us not play with reputation. Let us not play with reputation, because the reputation can open doors for not only you but generations after you. Some people are they're enjoying the reputation of their grandmother. Seriously. They are enjoying in my village, like my grandmother died some years ago, well, just last year, I believe. And yeah, last year. And she was so known in her village for being hospital, um she was so open. She was so open and so helpful. So she did not have money. There was no money, but what she's eating, ah, she'll give it to you. Is it food? She'll give it to you. I think somehow I got that also in me. As long as she has some, she knows that this person is hungry or you need something. If she has it, she'll share it with you or even give it to you. So that is what people knew her for. Now that reputation, even as when someone, one of the grandchildren that are in the village, those people that she was so nice to, they are still around. They are still around. Some that she took in, they are still there. They are still around. And for me, it's just an example of, like, if you do good, honestly, it might not be to you yourself because they cannot pay you back that, but it speaks for your generation. It speaks for your generation. That's something that people knew her for. So if someone you need something and you go to, except that person is wicked, except a wicked person, but if that person has conscience, they will pay you back. They will say, "Oh, your grandmother was so good to me. Yes, I remember her. Come in and take." That's how it goes. Except a wicked person, and unfortunately, we have people like that will pay evil, for good. But your reputation exceed you. It's more than you. So whatever you are doing, please, my dear people, let's think about that. Don't spoil the good name today. Think about tomorrow, because there is a tomorrow. There is a tomorrow, either for you or for your generation. There is a tomorrow. Whatever you are doing, check. When it comes to dependability, what traits, what characteristics do you have that people can trust? People can build on. What characteristics can they see in you that they will say, oh, based on this, on that, and that, in that area, this person is dependable? If they can't, if there is nothing at all, please start building it. Please start building it. But if there is, then keep it up and work on it. Build it up. Amen. All right. I see that our time has. Do we have? Okay, let me just. Does someone have any questions, contributions? Um, if you have anything to add, please just um, add it. If you have questions, also please ask. Let's think about our reputation. It goes way, 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 way beyond us. That's the legacy that you leave behind. What will people say about you when you are no more? What will they say? This person lived and died, and then, well, we cannot really trust that person. I mean, the person, yeah, she or he lied a lot. I mean, yeah, if you give room, you miss a lot. If you give room, well, you might not find your pen, you might not find your phone, you might not find, and still they'll turn it around and be like, it's you that is crazy. Is that what they'll say about you? We are not perfect. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to, but at least let's let's be good. Let's be good. You know, we have it in us. I don't believe depending on how you are brought up, yes, depending on the environment, that the hardship that you've been exposed to, but even in that, deep down you still know what is right and what is wrong. Deep down you know what is good and what is bad. So there are some things that we should not say, oh, well, I didn't have the opportunity to. Maybe you did not have the opportunity to experience it, but at least you have a notion of what it should be or how it should be. And you try, to be, not that it will go all flawless, but that's where the thing comes in. As you are trying, you put in the effort, you become better each time. You become better each time. Not that I don't know, so I stop, but try and know, get to know, so that you work out those weaknesses. You work them out to become strong in them. We are not perfect, but we can improve. We must improve. We should not stay at one level and say, this is me. We must improve. Dependability is so important, because if you don't have it in all your relationships, it becomes a big problem. And most importantly, in your relationship with the maker, it becomes so important. If you are not dependable in, these small, just basic areas, it becomes a problem. Because how well can he trust you then? He said, if you are not, there is a Bible passage that says, if you are not faithful with this little, how can you then, how can he trust you then with a lot? So in those little things, if you are not faithful, trustworthy is being faithful as well. If you are not faithful, being committed is being faithful. If you are not faithful in those little things, then how are you expecting promotion to come? How are you expecting to be to receive thousands if hundreds you cannot account for? How? How are you expecting to manage thousands of money if hundreds that you saw hundreds and you're like it's too little, you cannot account for it? How? Think about the story also about um the three servants that were given the talent. Five, one received five, made five more. One received two, made two more. One received one, and he, went and hide it. And we're like, well, I didn't know what to do because you are wicked, and so I went to hide it so that I can return to you. That person was not faithful over a little. And so that little was taken away. That is what happens. That is what happens. That's just the reality of things. If you're not faithful over little, you can't have. You can't have. And so that small, that little self that you have is taken away from you. And you find yourself just at one spot while others are moving. You are just at one spot. And you're wondering, what's going on? It's not everything that we can reduce to that level, but sometimes, please, let us just check within ourselves. Let us check within ourselves and ask what is in our character that is keeping us where we are. Again, it's not everything that we can reduce to that, but most of the time, something in us keep it at a place. Continue to block doors for us. It's so important that we open our eyes to those things so that we can work them out. We can pray, we can pray, but if you yourself, you're also not putting in the work to change something so that doors can be opened unto you, it will not work except by the mercies of God. By the mercies of God and by the sacrifice of a mother, grandmother, grandfather, that has laid down the work. Um, but all by his mercy. So let us be aware of these things. And I pray that God will help us to work out some things within us. God, it's only when you are willing that He can help you. And for you to be willing, you must admit there is a problem. You must admit there is work to be done. If you don't admit it, you can't. He will not come in and do it for you. That's the principle of God. If we understand how God works, there are a lot of prayer points we will not be praying. Instead, we will turn it around. We will know how to pray effectively because God works according to principles, except by His mercy, like I said. But He works according to principles. And one of His principles is He will not force Himself on you. So by willingness, if you lay down your will and allow Him in and say, let your will be done, that's when He will come in. Jesus stand at the door and knock. If any will open, He will come in and then help you, build you up, work out those flaws that needs to be worked out, because we can't do it by our own strength. But first, you must admit you have a problem. You must admit you need help, and then help will come. All right. Thank you so much for your time. You have to make your choice. Absolutely, Joy. You have to make your choice whether you want change or not. And that change must start with you. Most of the time, we are looking out, we are looking for change outside us. But the change outside you can never be a good enough change if you yourself, you have no change to adopt to that, to align to that. That change will never work for you. Absolutely, Debbie. You need to work out. You need to work out your problems, your flaws, but you first need to be willing and ask for help. Change must first start from you, always. Always. If we don't change, The whole outside, everything will change, but you will still be looking with the eye. When you are looking at something with tainted glass, you think everything is dirty and everywhere is dirty. Um, but forgetting that it's your glass that is tainted and that needs to be cleaned. When you clean your glass, you can see clearly. So, but it is you that need to do that. It is you that need to clean it so that you can see clearly and see that outside was never dirty, at least not in the way that you were thinking, but it was from your blur view that was making everything dirty. So sometimes we need to check within ourselves, clear the view so that we can see clearly, and be able to help out there where needs to be, where we can help. All right. Thank you so, so much for your time. We will see each other next week by His grace. Joy, continue to celebrate, continue to enjoy. Patience, continue to enjoy. All of you, November babies, continue to enjoy your birthday. Debbie, happy birthday. All of you, this month is heavy, it's loaded. Celebrate and celebrate each other. And most importantly, don't take each other for granted. Don't take each other for granted. All right. Time is not ours. Don't take each other for granted. I don't take you guys for granted. So thank you so, so much. God bless you. We'll see each other next week by His grace. Okay. Love you all. And may God guide and protect you. Be blessed. Bye. Oh, yes. November is loaded. Make gonna enjoy the go. God bless. Bye.